Thank you very much, Lina. I recognize I am the one standing between you guys and an apero, so thank you for your attention in advance, I'll say. Okay. So 3 years ago, I was heading up a human resources department for a multinational. Our function served 12,000 employees and had $55 billion in revenue. I had a great team. We were high-performing with high learning agility. I got promoted twice in my 3 years tenure, and my leadership scores were off the charts. So I felt like I was reaching for the stars. And yet there was a side of me that was resisting all of what I had. A morning person, I had a difficult time waking up. I caught myself disregarding a job I loved very much. I had a difficult time connecting to the decision-making process of a boss I felt incredibly loyal to. I resented the company that I wanted to work at for many years and my team for not being able to keep up at times. See, at the time when I took on this gig, I was only 5 months married. We had just moved to Europe from the States, and my husband had taken a job opportunity in Paris. During my interviews, we were convinced if I could work from home 1 day of the week, we could manage it because Paris to Basel, it's only 3 hours by speed train, it's doable. Well, that was far from the reality. The truth of the matter was that even though I was hired as a change agent into the organization, I couldn't bring my authentic self to work because the corporate culture wouldn't tolerate it. So I obviously couldn't work from home. I couldn't dress the way I wanted to, just comfortably, as you can see. I couldn't even communicate in my natural tone of voice because transparency wasn't encouraged. We certainly live at times of uncertainty and change. Everything around us is evolving with the dynamics of democratization, digitalization, and globalization. The concept of work is really no different. How we think about work, workplaces, and our work experience is also evolving. And yet when we look at data, we see not much has evolved in the past 20 years. In fact, the current data would tell us only 13% of us are truly engaged in the global workplace. So, the workplace is indeed full of people who are frustrated or confused because they struggle to bring their best selves forward. But it doesn't have to be this way. There is a better way. We know investing in employee experience advances organizational effectiveness and profitability. We also know organizations that thrive at an individual and team level first. We have long forgotten about the value of business. We kind of created these monsters that focus on processes, systems, outputs, and sadly, money. And the irony of all of this is that we look at these giants and wonder, how are they so successful? How are they driving innovation? Well, let me assure you, they are not driven by the desire to prove their capability. Instead, they're driven by the desire to advance human lives. That means internally they care about their employee experience and externally they care about their customer experience. But the net is they are focused on people first. And so it's time we ask ourselves as HR professionals, what do we stand for? We talk so much about consolidation, outsourcing, digitalization, that's all fine. But can we really claim to be strategic when so many people are suffering day to day at work? Or are we expecting someone to come and magically make the work experience better for all of us? Now, I'm not suggesting we drop everything we do, but we do need the courage to speak up. It's not okay for the business to say, let's get rid of HR, when they continue to practice leadership in elevated circles. We carry a mutual responsibility in the creation of work experience, and we jointly need to redefine what that means. Traditional hierarchies no longer work. Dangling carrots from sticks, Wolfgang presented, it doesn't motivate any one of us. So it's time we actually introduce science into our people practices and innovate. Complex times require simple ways of working. We talk so much about data and technology, but we don't integrate it into our day-to-day. We must integrate data and technology into our day-to-day, not on top, and adopt simplicity as a key principle. And finally, we must build not good, but great people managers. Would we allow our children to be looked after by untrained nannies? Why do we turn a blind eye on ill management practices? We have to make it relevant, we have to make it personal, and yes, we have to invest in every single people manager one at a time. Finally, you may be in the business of building cell phones, I don't know, shoes, or perhaps you are selling life insurance services. That's all fine. But we are all in the business of people. And as Steve Vine once said, HR isn't a thing we do in business, it's the thing that runs our businesses. Thank you.